Hello and welcome to Why Would You Tell Me That? A podcast for the ages. The aged. A podcast for the aged.
This is what the people who hate older people.
People who hate older people and people who are old. It's a weird Venn diagram of people, like the hated
people who hate themselves,
and the haters.
The self-hating, the self-hating pensioners. If you're joining us on YouTube, by the way, and looking at our clips, so you spent 10 minutes accusing me essentially of looking like I owned a yacht last week. I think your compound is just about to be stormed by the FBI. If you don't mind me saying,
got one pair of camo shorts on.
You have a lot of fertilizer you've bought at a local Kmart or Target, wherever you can buy it over there. You've bought ball bearings. You have.
I'll tell you now what's going to happen.
You have a well-formed militia, and you are determined that those nasty Democrats, whoever they may be, are not going to take your.
I believe in the simple inalienable right for me and my peoples to own our land and own our rifles.
The bang of moonshine off you is something shocking. What people won't know is he came in here and actually he changed out of his dungarees. He came in, he had dungarees, he had a stick with a bindle at the end of it, and he had a straw hat.
I came up the river. I came up the river on a raft of logs tethered together.
Yeah, he paid the M50 toll with molasses, which is really weird, and then came in here and changed into...
But I whitewashed the fence this morning, and I'll tell you.
Changed into Waco chic, I believe we call it.
I think I am streetwear. I'm full of cred here.
Yes, David Koresh Moore, I believe, is his full name. Hello, how are you?
I'm tremendously well. How are you doing?
I'm very well. I have an absolute doozy.
Well, let's get straight into it then.
For you.
Hit me.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to try and do minimal notes as well.
Impressive.
I have a question for you. First of all, I have a question. What drug that is safe for humans still killed about 500,000 of them?
Safe for humans. But is responsible for the death of 500,000 humans. Yep. Well, you could go...
time later.
You could go for recreational drugs, as in alcohol, but it's killed a lot more than 500,000 people, is like a drug that we deem safe because we want to drink it. But it has killed a lot more than 500,000 people, so I'm not going to go with that one.
By the way, this has involved me mentioning drug names, and if you think my foreign pronunciation is, you know, the way I can't do, you know, I just I don't practice, which I should practice, and you always practice, and you find a native speaker. Usually I read the story, I'm interested in the story about the foreign word, the overseas word, and then forget that I have to say it.
100%.
And then the first time I consider the fact that I have to say it is when I have to say it. And I don't do it with enough gusto.
Oh, I love it. Or the other one is names, like, you know, names that no one has ever heard, no one will hear again. Indeed, no one is particularly concerned with the name, but yet you will second guess yourself halfway through the name, rather than just say anything.
Just doing it.
Just go, Karuchi Maguk, and I go, fine. I don't know.
Karuchi Maguk. Wow.
Karuchi Maguk is the guy who runs the militia when I'm not there.
Yes, second in command. He's a quartermaster. He gets the nails and the broken glass.
He does what needs to be done.
He's on various... He's just like 2 folders in the FBI watch list.
Yeah, so, he's not allowed online.
Have you got any injuries? That's my next question. It is related.
I have an injury I love to go on about. Oh, I love telling people about this. In fact, for the camera.
A current injury now.
Current smart.
I know, is this the...
Like, so there's an 8-inch scar that runs from there down to there. Diarmuid, if you could please flash up the image now of the X-ray of my leg. As you can see, I am less man and more machine.
Yeah.
In fact, that's why I'm welcoming the AI revolution, because they're only waiting to catch up with me.
You're just going to get an update, basically.
Yeah, that's it. I'm version 2.7 is gone. I'm going to take over the world.
This is your broken in 10 places paintball injury.
Yeah, so paintball, I told the story. I fell, I broke, completely tore my ligaments, tore the ankle off. Ankle dislocation, and the only thing holding on was skin, and a 10 fracture, 8 to the tibia, fibula.
You don't ever want to hear a medical worker ever say the phrase, Jesus, the only thing holding this on is skin.
Which they did say in the ambulance.
This is basically a crackling case. That's what they call it.
was. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
All right.
so I've bored you with that, but yeah, no, I don't have any current injuries.
No, hold on. You didn't bore me with that. It's
Sorry.
just you've told it before. It's
Right.
an epic story.
Okay,
If you're going to
thank
break your leg, break it in multiple places.
Yeah, that's the way.
Okay, now, so current injuries. No current injuries.
No, well,
okay. If you did have a current injury,
Yeah.
what drug would you take for it? If you had to rub a little bit at something.
Ibuprofen. Oh, rub a bit. Oh,
Yeah, go on.
Because ibuprofen would be the usual one I would take as an injury.
Voltarol would be the big thing, wouldn't
okay.
it? So the active ingredient of Voltarol is diclofenac.
Diclofenac. Okay.
Very safe for humans to use.
Yeah.
People have been using it for a long time. Safe for humans to use, safe for cattle to use. So in India, they started giving it to cattle in the 1990s. I'm just going to get the figures up because I want to make sure we're right in this. Right? They gave it to cattle. Now, we know that...
Gave it to, rubbed it in, like what are we...
Yeah, so for anti-inflammatory.
Anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, so you can take it in, I'm assuming they're not rubbing cattle like Wagyu beef, but...
just going to ask you, yeah.
No, in their digestive tracts,
right.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
Safe for them.
Yeah.
Safe for humans.
Right.
Not safe for vultures. Okay? Now, the vulture is an amazing creature.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to step away for
One
a
of
second
world's
to give you
finest.
some vulture facts.
Love it.
Strongest gastric acid in the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
This is from San
Incredible.
Diego Zoo. pH of just over 0.
I was going to say 1.
Barely. No, not
Wow.
even 1. So stronger than battery acid.
Okay.
100 times more
Acidic.
powerful than ours.
Right.
So basically, it can digest
Anything.
bones. It can digest. Yeah, pretty much anything at all.
Congealed abracadabra, cheese,
Abracadabra.
curry, fries.
It's not strong. Now, for you, it wouldn't be strong enough to destroy your own shame.
Right. Well,
So it's not that powerful.
Nothing can.
If you've got, if you've gone
can.
to a Catholic school like we have, not even vulture's gastric juices can't even get to the edges of that.
in fact, that is the book of juices, I believe it was named, and they said, and lo, he succumbed to the juices, but still his shame lived on.
Yeah, his guilt.
His guilt persisted.
Yeah, when they put him in the ground, it was his bones were dried, and they were in a little ossuary, and
Yeah.
then beside that, little ball of shame. The powerful gizzard gravy, as they called it, kills basically any pathogen, pretty much. Anthrax, botulism, other bacteria, gonzo.
That's crazy.
That is the end of the food chain for the bad lads, basically.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Superpower stomach has other uses as well. New World vultures often urinate or defecate down their legs. The liquid helps cool the bird through evaporation, but it's also through the highly acid urine. This is what it's thought it kills bacteria and parasites that are on the legs while they are eating the carcass.
So they're basically super healthy.
They are super healthy, and most importantly, they're super healthy for us. So, in the 1990s, they started giving diclofenac to cattle.
To cattle in India.
Cattle then dies.
Yeah.
Not from
Not
that,
from that,
but
just
dies.
died, yeah.
Right? They reckon that there was about... okay, gotta make the figures right on this. The cattle dies. The vulture eats the carcass of the cattle.
Mm-hmm.
We both know that the majority of people in India are Hindu and cows are sacred, right? There was a more than 90% drop off in vulture numbers in the mid 1990s to the 2000s because they would eat the drug from the cow meat and die.
And the 0 point whatever pH stomach acid could not kill the drug.
Could not kill the drug.
Wow.
So the drop off was well into the 90%, right? By the mid 1990s, it proved fatal for humans as well, though.
Oh.
There was a rate of 4% rise in mortality in districts once populated by the birds. So what would happen was, the previous situation, there's loads and loads and loads and loads of vultures, right? They reckon there was, I think it was 40 million vultures in India at the time. Okay? So cattle dies. Vultures come over. A flock of vultures, which are called different things depending on what they're doing. Like they're called a wake of vultures at one point. If they're eating, they're called a different collective noun. They can strip a carcass in 40 minutes. Completely. And when I say strip, everything, all the flesh is gone.
Yeah.
Most importantly, it's put into that situation where it is gonzo, the pathogen dies.
Yeah.
Right. So they eat the meat with the drug in it. They all die. well over 90% of all the vultures die.
That is crazy.
Right? So what's left then is a cow. Cow dies, no vulture to eat it. So rats eat it, feral dogs eat it. What happens with them is twofold. Two things. One, they increase in numbers, right? And there's rabies in India, so that would increase, and rats carry disease as well, right? Yeah. Number one. Number two, they don't have the same acidic stomach acid and strong stomach acid, so it doesn't end with them,
right?
And number three, they're not as good at actually getting every single bit of meat off the bone. So you get all these animals still dying, pathogens still are around them, and it gets into the groundwater, and it's just knocking around the area, shall we say. And they calculated that, as I said, in those areas, 4% mortality rate. So what they did was 90% in the drop off in numbers.
That is
from 40 million people, right?
Insane.
And to give you the numbers, because it was such a quick demise, the abrupt demise of the vultures, I'm reading from an Economist article from a couple of years ago, made it possible to quantify their impact on public health. Because it was so quick, you go, well, what changed? And there was a working paper by E.L. Frank, the University of Chicago, and Anant Sudarshan of Warwick University, and they compared it, and they looked at habitats where they had lots of vultures, and it was a vulture suitable habitat, and then ones that didn't have a lot of vultures and wasn't suitable, right? The authors estimated that between 2000 and 2005, the loss of vultures caused 500,000 additional human deaths. 5 years. So the drug that was safe to humans in a roundabout way, not even a roundabout way,
hugely
essentially
safe.
Was responsible, according to the authors, through the vultures, for 500,000 extra people dying between 2000 and 2005.
And what that illustrates to me is, first of all, incredible story of pathogen passing.
Yeah.
But also things that, I recently did a thing on the show, on a radio show, where someone asked me, what's the point of a mosquito? And you look at mosquitoes, you look at wasps, you look at vultures and go, we don't need these. We need all of them. We so need vultures. Obviously they don't exist here in Ireland, but the work the vultures do for this exact kind of thing, this carrion, consumption, cleanly stripping a carcass is a huge service to the community that nobody probably gives a second bit of thought to.
Yeah.
But that's wild.
So now there are various schemes in place to try and repopulate the place with vultures.
Vultures, of course.
Wasps basically get rid of... If we didn't have wasps, so I have a book in there about wasps. If we didn't have wasps, we'd all be living in plant matter and, kind of more animal matter, and insects and all the stuff that they actually eat and consume. It'll be over our head, essentially.
Absolutely.
They're the cleaner uppers of the
They're also pollinators, massive pollinators.
Yeah.
And the life cycle, again, just to very quickly steal your section of the show for a second. Okay. But mosquitoes, right? So at their larval stage, they're food for fish. Massively. And obviously there are millions and billions of larval mosquitoes. Then at their adult stage, they are food for all birds, spiders, frogs. They're a huge part of their diet. And then they do bite us and they bite around us, and they are responsible for more deaths than any other animal, obviously through the diseases they carry. But phenomenal, they can affect the migration paths of grazing herds. So if there is a huge swarm of mosquitoes in an area, the wildebeest, the bison, the caribou will avoid it. And then that has a huge effect on the vegetation, which is no longer being trampled and eaten. And then you can get these pockets of growth because of mosquitoes that are really important to the area. But it's all because of mosquitoes. So this is along those lines.
Well, I was bitten by mosquitoes last week when I went to Croatia. And the only thing I would say about Croatia, so I have traditionally pale Irish milk bottle skin. When I get bitten by a Mediterranean, I'm delicious, absolutely delicious.
Can't get enough of the butter.
Darren Noon, absolutely delicious for these things. So when I get bitten, it's not a little nibble, it's a proper big blotch. Now the only thing about that happening in Croatia is you look like the national jersey.
Of course.
Right
Very
after
quickly.
it.
Yes.
So you can just walk down the main street of Zagreb or Split or Dubrovnik and they look at you and like, do you get free stuff?
Yeah.
Such is your commitment to the bit. Yeah. Such is your commitment to blending in with the locals that you're dressed like a fatter Luka Modric because you've been bitten by all those things. Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
Yeah.
But my bit only has a couple more things in it, which are just correspondence, by the way.
I didn't think I needed anything else.
It probably doesn't, but listen, more people have been in touch with us who have been in touch with us before, including how our Finnish friend got in contact with us, and I want you to do it in the bonus because it has language in it.
Brilliant.
But Ronan also got back in touch and said, "Hello, absolutely buzzing. You read out my would you rather."
Oh, right.
But I fear there may have been some confusion. Would you rather eat a Declan Rice-sized grain of rice or a grain of rice-sized Declan Rice? The first part, he said, we nailed. Basically, a 6'2", 80 kilogram grain of rice. Mm-hmm. But the second part is essentially Declan Rice, but he is the size of a grain of rice. Cannibalism, but ever so small. Hopefully, that clears this all up. Not sure if it changes the answer.
Well, I think you've accidentally consumed a rice-sized Declan Rice because they're just in the ether, right? Like because they're so small.
Yeah.
So you almost wouldn't notice.
So yeah. If a plane crashed, I don't know if we talked about this before. If a plane crashed, how hard would you find it to eat another human being?
I would find it very hard because I would be the one eaten. I am succulent. You are delicious. I am succulent. Imagine how long I would sustain a family or indeed a plane full of people. Look at me. Like, honestly.
No, would you be all like, there'd be bones and there'd be...
No, but I've got so much meat. My calves are bigger than most people's thighs. Like, I could
eat your leg and then use the pins in it as a toothpick.
You could. In fact, you could probably rebuild the plane out of how much metal's in my leg.
Oh my God. I mean, that would be an episode. Can you imagine if that was in the episode of the A-Team?
Yeah.
Do you know the A-Team where they go into the bar and then come out in a tank, right? If they went into the bar and came out with a tank, but Murdoch was gone.
Yeah.
And they just used
bits of Murdoch's injuries were being... That's me. I and you know what? Also, I've said this before. In some kind of a disaster situation, I don't have the motivation to survive, be it a zombie apocalypse or a plane crash.
Yeah.
I would just immediately go, lads, come here, can I just... And everyone would be gathered around trying to survive. And I go, lads, that's just one thing. We've run out of food. And they go, yeah. And I go, cool, yeah, see you later.
I think you'd be eaten on a plane, like if it crashed in like a populated area of England. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it was the Andes. I think
no, it wouldn't need to be that.
I think if we were in a holding pattern over the Heathrow for more than one circle,
there's a good chance people would start gnawing on me.
Somebody would stab you in the back of the head, and that'd be you done. Okay, so to get back to our original point before we go to a break, if you died in India, do you think that every vulture in the place would get a text?
It would take 40 million of them.
well, but do you know the way, like in England recently, everybody got an emergency wildlife, a wildfire alert to their phone. Yeah. Do you think there's a sort of a vulture network?
Yeah, I think the screeching would be heard all across the southern.
Dave's gone down. Like a medieval feast.
Tonight we shall feast. We shall feast for a year.
Like if you fell asleep on the Indian coast with an apple anywhere near your mouth, you would wake up
going in
covered in those from the Jungle Book. What are we going to do tonight?
My arms here, my legs up the other way, and I would just be like slowly rotating.
But there you go. That's basically the law of unintended consequences.
Incredible. I love it.
Thought you'd like that. We'll talk more weirdness in part 2. Welcome back to part 2, where we're just checking Dave's limbs. They are all together. It's funny that he's wearing shorts. Given his militia background, you'd think that he would have the right to bear arms. Boom.
Very good. You talked about cattle in part 1 and vultures and rats and dogs. I want to talk to you about a mongoose.
Oh.
Okay. Now, I really hope you don't know the story because I only found out the story because I like to watch trailers on YouTube sometimes. I don't want to watch the movie.
Okay.
So I want to watch trailers. And often they're the brand new trailers.
I'm
And
the opposite.
yeah.
I don't want to see anything about a film before I go in.
Oh no, I consume
Whereas
trailers.
I do watch trailers, like at the National Ploughing Championship, I'll sit there and watch a fellow with an Isuzu Trooper just backing into a neat spot.
So I was watching a trailer for a movie and I went, okay, cool. And at the start it said, based on true events, and that got my attention. I was like, what? And then it said, it spread the two bits of the sentence apart and said probably. So based on probably true events.
Okay.
So I went, what's this about?
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Jeff the Talking Mongoose? I'm glad you're saying no.
No, I have not heard of Jeff the Talking Mongoose.
Well, let me transport you and everyone else to the 1930s and the Isle of Man.
Please tell me he's not a fascist.
No. You don't worry about there.
Jeff got in league with Oswald Mosley and led a march down Cable Street.
We're okay. So there's a family living on the Isle of Man.
Okay.
This family is the Irvings. They live at a farmhouse called Dorlish Cashen near Dalby on the Isle of Man. Dalby, I think. They started to hear noises at night. Noises appeared to be coming from inside the walls of their house.
Haunted.
Yeah, but then the noise-making thing started talking.
Oh, God.
And among the things it said, I am a mongoose.
What?
Okay?
That'd be terrifying.
It is terrifying. He said his name was Jeff. He said he was born in New Delhi. We're going to India.
Okay.
On the 7th of June, 1852, making him 79 years old.
Okay, hold on for a second here, right? Number one, please don't do an impression of Jeff the Talking Mongoose. I really don't want that to happen.
Oh, no. First of all, I'll do what I like. I've said it in this podcast before. Accents are not racist. Racial stereotypes are racist, but I will not do that because I'm not going to do that.
Well, no, only because you don't know what part of India was he born in?
New Delhi.
New Delhi. Okay, so because I know you'll do the wrong city.
I'll do the all right.
I'll be annoyed, or you'll do somewhere that was part of India, and then after the partition, I just wanted to be accurate. That's all.
I won't.
Okay,
do it.
so number one, don't do his voice. Number two, I don't believe that he kept those sort of accurate records about when he was born.
He's a mongoose.
He didn't come out and go Capricorn or whatever it was. What date was it?
The 7th of June.
Okay, I thought about that.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
but that's a good point.
And that he's 79 years of age.
He's nearly 80. Yeah, when he starts this scenario. Okay.
Exceptional work straight away.
It's quite a long lifespan for a mongoose.
Okay,
let's be honest, right? He could also speak English as well as other languages.
Yep.
He could sing. He could recite poetry.
Okay.
And he could apparently tell the family what people in the local area had been doing. He was a gossip. Okay?
A gossipy goose.
He would listen to conversations.
Yeah.
He'd go wandering around the farm.
Yeah.
And according to the family, he's particularly fond of stealing things.
Right, okay.
So there's one story about Jeff apparently getting into the local bus depot in the Isle of Man and stealing the bus driver's sandwiches. Okay?
I thought you were going to say he took a bus.
No.
Okay.
He's a mongoose. He's only after food.
Okay.
So let's just recap here. So Irving's living in a farmhouse, 1931, Isle of Man.
Yeah.
Scratching in the wall. Scratching starts to talk.
Yeah.
Says, my name's Jeff. I'm 80. I'm a mongoose. I'm Indian. And did you know that Mrs. O'Riordan is sleeping with Jack O'Reilly? All of these things are coming out of Jeff.
Okay. According to whom?
Well, according to the Irvings.
Yes. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
The family weren't frightened about this.
Okay.
They said they got used to him. They would talk to him. They would feed him. And eventually he became a little bit like a member of the family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mongoose not native to Isle of Man either.
No,
so another unusual facet of the story you guess
would be how did he get there?
Okay.
Yeah. So he was a member of the family but was invisible. He didn't show himself to the family at any point.
To the family at any point?
No.
Oh, they never saw him?
No. Neighbors and friends would come to the house.
Yeah.
They would hear the scratching, the talking. They would sometimes involve a conversation. At one point, someone asked him, what he was, Jeff said, I'm an earthbound spirit.
Oh.
So now he's getting on the kind of the paranormal in a mongoose. He did refer to himself at one point, he wasn't shy of an ego, as the 8th wonder of the world.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you're leading me in a wild mongoose chase here now.
Well, he led everyone on a wild mongoose chase. The story spread. Okay.
It would.
It would do. There's a talking mongoose. Journalists got interested. Paranormal.
Nothing else is going on in 1930s Europe.
No.
Well, okay, look, there's some guy sitting at Fleet Street going, we've only got limited journalists here. Okay, we can cover the rise of fascism and Mussolini. Yeah, I like it. But there's a talking mongoose on the Isle of Man. He's not paying his tax.
The most famous paranormal investigator in Britain at this time was a guy called Harry Price. Think of Harry Price as your Derek Chora.
All right.
Right?
Okay.
Something like that. Derek Chora. I had an argument with Derek Chora once.
Did you?
Look, I can't stand psychics, mediums, because I think it's lying, okay? I think it's duping. I don't think there's no science behind it. I am very impressed by mentalists, people who can trick you.
So you like Keith Barry?
Keith Barry is a great example.
Don't like the other people.
And these people who just go, oh, I'm getting. Anyway, Derek Chora came on and he told me about some Egyptian woman who had a Scouse accent, and I just called him out and I said, Derek, like I don't think any of this is true. And his quote to me, which I still remember distinctly, was beautiful. He goes, Dave, you are coming at this from a position of ignorance. And I went, wow, am I? Okay. So that's my Derek Chora moment. But Harry Price was the Derek Chora of his time. Celebrity paranormal investigator. He'd investigated mediums,
so he doesn't
haunted houses, spirits, all these sorts of things. And he became very interested in Jeff.
You would be.
So Price sent investigators, not himself, sent investigators to the farmhouse.
Yeah.
They came back with the reports.
Yeah.
Listen, Harry, there's definitely something in the walls.
Okay.
He definitely says he's from New Delhi. He definitely says he's 80 odd and he steals sandwiches and is a bit of a gossip. So you're going to have to. So Harry Price comes over. Bear in mind, Jeff talks all of the time.
Okay.
Jeff moves in the walls all the time. He's always there. Captain Dennis, who's one of the investigators who came before Price came over, reported hearing his voice coming behind the wooden paneling in the thing. James Irving himself and his wife were both in the room with the captain. They all corroborated. Yeah, Jeff's there. He's chatting away, all that. Their daughter, now I don't know how to pronounce this name, so I'm going to be like you, and I'm not sure. I've seen it before. It's Voirrey. Voirrey?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Voirrey. There was a suspicion that she was producing Jeff's voice. Her main interest, other than school and farm life,
ventriloquism.
Was ventriloquism.
Was it?
Right.
Okay.
But there were moments when Voirrey was in the room having a conversation and Jeff could be heard elsewhere. So they started to rule this out. The investigators and James Irving were outside the house a considerable distance away, and they heard Jeff calling them from somewhere near the house. So they had wandered off, so he'd kind of gone to get them because he wasn't getting the attention he liked. So look, there was weird stuff happening. Harry Price in 1935, 4 years after Jeff first appeared, came to the house. Jeff knew that Harry Price was coming, and Jeff wasn't a fan of Harry Price. The 80-year-old Mongoose, at this stage, 85-year-old Mongoose, had opinions about
on Harry
celebrity paranormal investigator Harry Price.
Yeah.
So he said, I like Captain McDonnell, who was one of the captains of the investigator, but not Harry Price, which is quite a specific feud to have with a paranormal investigator whom you've never met because you're an 80-year-old Mongoose living in a wall.
84 or 5 at this
84 or 5. Price arrived with R.S. Lambert, who's the editor of the BBC's magazine The Listener. We are getting serious now.
Yeah.
They stayed there, they investigated, and Jeff didn't speak a word.
Really? Jeff was in a huff, was he?
Apparently,
I will not be examined by the BBC, nor
Harry Price. So, for the claim of a talking mongoose, it's a little bit disheartening for them to come all the way out and for nothing to be spoken. So they looked around for anything else they could find. and they found some evidence of hair belonging to Jeff the mongoose. So they took the hair and sent it away to be examined. It was examined and by a naturalist, and the result came back that it was not mongoose hair. It was dog hair, and not just any dog hair. It was dog hair that compared almost identically to the farm's sheepdog who lived with the family.
Wow.
So the claim that this was Jeff's hair.
Number of possibilities here. Either Jeff has shaved the dog, the sheepdog,
and
attached the hair and left it around for himself because he doesn't want to be part with his own hair.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, the sheepdog is Jeff.
Oh, I hadn't considered that.
Sheepdog, because they are very, I don't know if you've ever seen One Man and His Dog. They're very, very clever.
Very clever.
And that just seems like the next level of adaptability
and maybe
of a collie.
They're clever enough to be able to talk, but that their lack of accent makes them sound New Delhian.
Yeah.
And that's why you had to claim that.
Yeah.
And then because they can only think in dog years, they said, "Oh, I'm 80," and they're like, really he meant he was 11.
Yeah, or it's fake.
Or it's fake.
I'm leaning towards the collie at the moment.
Okay. There were also footprints and tooth marks, but those did not provide convincing evidence that a mongoose had made any of those.
Okay.
So at this point, you consider you've had the BBC and the world's most prominent paranormal investigator out who found nothing. You know, it's debunked. It's a prank. The family, the Irvings, they would not back down. They said, no, Jeff is real. And you can say he's a hoax, but when you leave, Jeff will be here and he will be living in our walls, and we know that. The story has lived on from the 1930s because nobody came up with a plausible explanation as to what Jeff was or wasn't.
Okay.
They Harry Price claimed and BBC claimed we proved there was nothing. But the reality was they didn't. And the family said, no, all you proved was Jeff didn't talk when you were there.
He's a sulky mongoose. That's all that is.
The house had paneling and cavities in the walls, which could allow somebody to throw their voice. So again, suspicion came back around on Voiré, the daughter, the ventriloquist. The dog hair was proven to be wrong. The obvious explanation was just it was a massive hoax, maybe begun by the teenage girl as a bit of fun. You know, maybe life on the Isle of Man in 1931 wasn't as exciting. She had two choices, like you said, the rise of fascism or maybe pretend to be a mongoose. They got completely out of control. But you've got so many independent corroborators of people who came to the house and talked to Jeff.
Right.
And as I said, Jeff knew things about the town. Jeff would say things like, I see, Harold Brown's Grocers has shut down. And they'd go, yeah, it has. You live in a wall. And you're a mongoose. How do you know this? James Irving believed it so strongly that he kept hundreds and hundreds of diaries.
Did anybody try and record him?
Not that I found, because I did look into this. This all came from the movie trailer, which I'll tell you about later. And then, so I looked into trying to get audio of Jeff.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Okay.
There's nothing I can find anyway. But all of the original diary entries by James Irving still exist. And it is, again, as they say, it's beyond compelling because there's no let up in the record making of James Irving. He doesn't get bored of it. He doesn't like, I did it for 6 months, I couldn't do it anymore.
How long did he?
Years. So there's a huge paper trail, and Jeff's existence moved from the supernatural world into the legal world. Because R.S. Lambert, the BBC editor who had gone to the Isle of Man with Harry Price, became involved in a dispute after people suggested that his interest in Jeff meant that he was involved in occultism. In the 1930s, this was not a good thing to be associated with. He ended up suing someone for slander, and then he sued the BBC. And that dispute became big enough that the then British Prime Minister, Stanley Baldwin, ordered a special inquiry into the BBC standards because of Jeff, the 80-year-old mongoose. So this then gave so much legitimacy.
There's a mongoose in the world who's over 80. He's in there.
He's stealing sandwiches off bus lads.
He knows all the gossip.
Yeah.
He says he's from New Delhi. The BBC goes to investigate it. Can't find anything. There's an accusation that he's involved in occultism, and the Prime Minister orders an investigation into R.S. Lambert.
Yeah.
This is epic. How far is this going to go is what I want to know.
What's a little bit frustrating about this, and why I think perhaps it lives on as a story, is there is no satisfactory ending to this tale I'm telling you, which is a bit annoying, right? So it's not that somebody proved it was a hoax. It's not that somebody proved that there was indeed an 80-plus-year-old mongoose living in the walls of a house in the Isle of Man. I mean, Jeff had a personality. He was vain. He called himself the eighth wonder of the world. He was argumentative. He didn't like Harry Price. He stole sandwiches. He had opinions on people. And when there was a spiritualist, a woman, she traveled all the way from South Africa to the Isle of Man in the hope of meeting Jeff. Yeah. She wasn't investigating him. She fully believed.
Meet Jeff, yeah.
And Jeff just refused to appear. He just
I've always wanted to do this. If you've been affected by any of the issues that we've talked about on the show today, please email your questions wwytmtpodcast@gmail.com. If you have a mongoose in your wall,
do you know what he said about her?
1-800 kill a snake.
When she was leaving the island, 'cause she came and stayed for a while, and he just wouldn't budge with her. And when she left and she was within visual distance of the house, he piped up and he said, "Tell her I hope the propeller of her boat falls off."
Why, nasty little
bitch. He didn't like her. Yeah, he didn't like her.
And this is a film.
So this is where I think it gets brilliant, right? They made...
Sorry, this isn't...
Oh, no. Sorry, no, so this is all the story.
Okay.
But when I thought back to it, I said, if I read this story, I would assume it was a B movie of a movie that would be made about this. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not in the great consciousness. No. You know, it's obviously a little bit niche or whatever. It doesn't have a satisfactory ending. Simon Pegg, Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future.
No way.
Minnie Driver and the brilliant Paul Kaye, who's hilarious, is in a movie called Nandor Fodor and the Talking Mongoose. So from the trailer that I saw, Simon Pegg plays Nandor Fodor, who I believe is the Harry Price character that they must have fictionalized because Harry Price is real.
Yeah.
But it's called Nandor Fodor and the Talking Mongoose. It came out in 2023. It's a relatively recent movie. I haven't seen it now. I haven't saw the trailer.
Haven't seen it either.
And this just, but somebody needs to watch that movie and email us and tell us all about it.
I mean, if there was a such thing as a talking mongoose that lived in a wall, he would get work.
Oh, without question.
And I think he would get work on stuff like Home Rescue. I think he'd get work on Dermot Bannon's Room to Improve. Because if you were looking at retrofitting your house and you want to see what sort of insulation you have,
put them in early doors.
In there, do a report. He's going in through the cavities. He's going, you need fiberglass up there. You need less lamb's wool.
Having gotten fame and notoriety through his association with home improvement shows, we know he has an ego. It's only a matter of time before ITV give him a late night chat show. Where it's just a panelled wall. And interviewing, so Ed Sheeran, it's Jeff. It's only a matter of time.
I mean, you could what you could just do is you could panel a wall, but in clear perspex.
I don't know. Yeah, I suppose his
or maybe
depends.
Just a couple of panels. So he would be milling around the wall, and then he would just in behind the clear glass panel.
Okay, to have a question.
Because you don't want to chat. I wouldn't mind chatting to Jeff as long as I could see his face. I don't think I would trust him. I think there's so much, like, you know, when you're chatting to somebody down the line on the radio, it's very good because you're very good at it and you've done it for years and all the rest, and you rarely do their accents to them. But if you see their face, much easier for you.
Totally.
So I think you'd have a connection with Jeff.
For them. Yeah.
And also, as Jeff gets older, I mean, Jeff is now...
Well, is he immortal?
Well,
at this point,
he's
Jeff
180
would be,
years of age,
yeah,
roughly.
He's about 180 now, yeah.
Right. So the chances are, if he's still alive, like he's going to be around for new Grange levels. So
true.
But even so, you slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Once you get beyond 160, 170, we all slow down. And I think you'd want to see his face.
Okay, but his face may not be...
Take the meaning.
Yeah, but it may be so old at this point that it doesn't quite have the glamour
The
that
expressiveness?
Jeff...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, that Jeff himself, projects.
Do you think his real name was Jeff?
Well, it's actually GEF.
Oh.
Now, I did check. It is pronounced Jeff, not Geff. But it's not GEOFF. It's not JEFF. It's GEF.
GEF.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeff the Talking Mongoose.
Goose. Extra.
Fiction.
I
mean, yeah.
That's epic. I'm going to go and watch the film now.
I think so. I think I'm going to watch it as well. Okay. Nandor Fodor and the Talking Mongoose.
Okay. If you like more essentially India-related trivia, join us on this podcast every week. We'll have more of that. Email us with your questions as well. He's on the radio between 9 and 12. And I'm always on tour. I'm doing the Olympia on
September
the
20th. I'll be there.
Of September. And, we'll talk about the radio in the bonus.
Okay.
Bye.